One really good thing that we can do to improve our IELTS speaking, especially in part 2, is to try and contrast feelings when the question asks us how we feel about something. And I want us to reflect on that today because not many students are that confident to express differentiation in their feelings. And to do that, I just want you, when it asks you how you feel about something or how you felt about something, to say, in the past I felt, in contrast or similarly, or on the other hand, now I feel. So let's start by thinking about how you feel in different moments. First of all, let's think about how you feel when you study maths. You might say, in the past, I felt angry and frustrated because maths was so incredibly difficult. In contrast, now I feel more confident and enjoy the process far more. Do you see the contrast? In the past, negative. In contrast now. Next, how do you feel when you ride a motorbike? Oh, in the past I felt a little scared and apprehensive because of the crazy traffic in Ho Chi Minh City. In contrast, now I feel over the moon because I can easily navigate the streets of Saigon. Do you see that contrast? It's really nice to use this in your part 2 speaking. Let's try one more. How do you feel when you speak English with foreigners for the first time? Well, in the past, I felt a little worried and concerned because I was not great at grammar. In contrast, now I feel far more confident and alive to express my feelings because I studied at IELTS with Charles. That contrast is really nice when speaking in IELTS Part 2 because we can show emotion, we can show our range of tenses, we can show our ability to give negative and positive feelings. So let's think about a question here. The question is, could you describe a good law in your country? You should say what the law is, how you first learned about it, how you feel about this law, and why you think it's a good law. Now remember, for the final why, we have a choice. We can either say a variety of reasons, or we can tell our passionate story. Please listen to my answer now and let me know in the comments, which structure did I pick? So without further ado, let's do a sample answer. There are many fantastic regulations in Vietnam. However, if I had to pick one, it would be the helmet law. I first came across this law not only when my parents taught me, but also the police once stopped me and I had to pay a little fine. In the past, I felt so angry and frustrated about the helmet law because it always ruined my beautiful hair. Moreover, the helmet law was incredibly annoying because I had to carry my helmet everywhere I went. In contrast, on the other hand, now I feel over the moon, safe, because the helmet is part of my daily life. I no longer have to think about wearing it each day. It's just part of my natural habit. The reason why the helmet law is so special is not only because it's part of Vietnamese culture and way of life, but also because it helps to save lives. For example, last week, I was driving home on my motorbike and I witnessed a crash between a motorbike and a car. The motorbike rider was thrown into the air and smashed his head on the ground. But thankfully, he wore a helmet which saved his life. In the future, I will always obey this wonderful regulation. Do you see, guys? There was a sample for part 2 speaking, and I was able to show a range of emotions, even on a fairly boring topic about a law. By doing that, I showed the examiner my personality and contrasted those different emotions. Next, let's try another part 2 question, but this time the emotions are quite similar that I felt in the past and now. So I won't say in contrast, I'll say similarly. Here we go. Describe a sport you learned. You should say when and where you learned it. Who taught you it? How you feel about it, and explain why you like this sport. There are many leisure activities I could talk about. However, if I had to pick one, it would be boxing. I first studied boxing, I can vividly remember 2 years ago on my birthday, the 22nd of February. at Trigger Boxing, located in the heart of the thriving metropolis, Ho Chi Minh City. My coach was a charismatic and passionate teacher, Mr. Tung, who had many years of experience. In the past, I felt over the moon and excited to try this hobby because I was determined to try and lose weight. Similarly, now I still feel overjoyed and passionate about this great sport as I begin to improve day by day. The reason why this sport is special is not only because it allowed me to lose weight, something that meant a lot to me at that time, but also because it has sentimental value to me. I can vividly remember the first time I entered the boxing gym, feeling incredibly overwhelmed by the talent of all the people around me. But my stunning, charismatic coach, Mr. Tung, took me under his wing and step by step showed me the processes to improving this skill. Eventually, I was able to compete in a boxing tournament, something that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I won't talk about the result of this tournament. However, it was still an incredibly special memory to me. That is why boxing will always have a special place in my heart. In the future, I will try my best to continue to improve and develop my boxing skills. Do you see, guys? So for that one, I was able to contrast the positive and the positive emotion. A great technique and a new structure for you to add in your IELTS speech. So remember, in part 2, we now have 3 structures. First one, variety of something. The second one, we tell a passionate story. And the new one, in the past I felt. In contrast, similarly, however, now I feel. Use this in your IELTS speaking part 2 to improve your score. Thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a comment and hit subscribe. Bye for now.